welcome back to another video today here again on Gran Turismo 7 to take a look at another of the brand new cars added in this latest iteration of the game, this being the BMW 3.0 CSL, which is of course a performance version of the BMW E9 model, the CSL being introduced to make the car eligible for the European Touring Car Championship back in the 70s. The CSL was even lighter than the previous slightly high performance version of the car, the CS, with the L meaning light. So there are actually two versions of the 3.0 CSL here on Gran Turismo 7. This one here being the 1971 car, the one you saw in the intro was the 1973, which is the one we're mainly going to focus on because that's the one with all the aero and interesting bits. But this, yeah, slightly older, in fact the 1971 model, obviously here at the Nürburgring GP circuit, perfect place to test out a German icon like this. But anyway, let's get back to the slightly more interesting version. So here we are back in the 1973 model, and as cool as the 71 is, I mean, just look at this one with its full iconic Batmobile kit. This is kind of what you imagine when you think of a 3.0 CSL, not the other one without the aero, although it's probably slightly prettier without, but it's supposed to be a racing car for the road, isn't it? So looking this aggressive is kind of the idea. I am slightly confused by the other one because Gran Turismo says it's 1971, but according to the internet, it was introduced in 1972, so slight discrepancy there. But anyway, this one is a 1973 model, which is when they said it was updated, so that matches. And well, this is the one we're going to focus on because, I mean, look at it. And it also has more power, 202 horsepower up from the 177 of the previous car, although it is slightly heavier, presumably from that wing that it's got on it. Although, interestingly, apparently UK cars were quite heavy, because they insisted on putting radios and things back in them for reasons. Anyway, neither of them handled very well, as you saw with the back kicking out there. So, admittedly, the 1973 model with the aero did handle a little bit better than the 71, but as you can see, it was quite balanced. So I kind of started trying to slide the thing around, which was actually a lot of fun. It kicked the back out so easily because there's virtually no grip in these tyres, despite it not having that much power. So it was a lot of fun, but the handling wasn't great, although with all of this sliding around, eventually the inevitable happened. And round he goes. So, after having that spin, I thought it was time to head to GT Auto and the upgrade shop before hopping over the border into Belgium to take it for a drive here at Spa. I gave the car a wide body, as you might have spotted, which interestingly isn't the same kit that you get on the 1971 version. This one gets these ridiculous wide arches, where the other one just gets the existing sort of metal arches extended, if you remember what those looked like a second ago. I also swapped on some BBS wheels. You have to change them to get the track width out to the width of the body, but gone with these classic style ones to try and keep with the era and look of the car, increasing them slightly to 15-inch from the original 14-inch. You can also remove the wing or add a custom wing set, but why would you? So left that on. And interestingly, the 71 version also gets this front bumper as an option if you want that car to also look like you've run over a fridge freezer like this one does. Unfortunately I couldn't paint the car because that removes that rather lovely stripe down the side, although I could give it yellower headlights to make it look even more classic. I also went to the upgrade shop and gave it race tyres, race suspension and race brakes as the first options, given how bad the handling was before, with no grip and ridiculous body roll. This is far better and corners much flatter now. I then added most of the components from that racing page in the upgrade shop, which brought the car to just over 600 pp, which I then tuned down slightly to make it eligible for maximum of 600 pp events, which means it now has 259 horsepower, but weighs pretty much the same as it did before, but also no longer handles like it's from the 1970s, which is kind of the important upgrade here. Here in Gran Turismo, the tyres particularly make a massive difference. But yeah, this wide body with the tyres bigger tyres, better suspension, better brakes, actually made this a really, really nice car to drive in the end. And it looks like this, which can't possibly be a bad thing. So there we go, that is going to do it for a first look at the two BMW 3-litre CSLs here on Gran Turismo 7, mostly focusing on the slightly later 1973 model, although the 71 potentially is a sleeker, more beautiful looking car. This is kind of the full-on aggressive racing car, and is the kind of Batmobile look you think of when you think of a 3-litre CSL, which is why we focused on this one. Standard, neither of them drove that well, which is kind of what you expect from a car from the 70s, even if it was built to be homologated for a racing series. But with some upgrades on this one, particularly that even more aggressive widebody kit to make it look even more like a Batmobile, and a few tyre and brake options and a little bit more power, just makes it that much nicer to drive. And I was actually surprised by how much difference it makes. I'm always shocked by how much the tyres improve handling here on Gran Turismo particularly. But yeah, there we go. Rather ridiculous looking car, but a lot of fun once it's upgraded. Kind of fun to slide around standard, but in the end just bad handling, let's be honest. But yeah, upgraded, it was very, very nice to drive. But there we go, that is going to do it for a first look at the BMW 3-litre CSL here on Gran Turismo 7. Do let me know if you've enjoyed this one, and if there's any other cars that are new to the Gran Turismo franchise in this game that you'd like me to take a closer look at, like I have with these two. I'm just going and picking some of the new cars I particularly like, which there are plenty more of, so don't worry if you don't have any ideas. But yeah, if there are any cars you want me to take a look at, do let me know. But otherwise, for today's video, for a first look at the BMW 3-litre CSLs here on Gran Turismo, that is going to be all. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.